Many people, when they point to the Cowboys, say that their weakest link has to be at the head coach position. Mike McCarthy kind of gets picked on when it comes to how good the Cowboys could be and can they capitalize on their championship window. Well, they go into this game against Tampa. They are a 3-point road favorite. Tom Brady, in his career, never lost to the Cowboys, but is the underdog in this matchup. And it's hard not to say that this is a must-win for McCarthy. I would find it very hard to see Jerry Jones hanging on to him if they were to lose this game. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, no, he has to win this game. And fair or not fair, he has to win this football game because I have seen no tangible evidence over his 3 seasons that Mike McCarthy is adding value to the Dallas Cowboys. I have not seen the tangible evidence thus far. And so I think that Dallas is in a position where if they have another early playoff exit coming off of the 2020 year that was absolutely abysmal, obviously Dak Prescott's injury permitting, but absolutely abysmal. And then last year, obviously, the 49ers game, disappointing hugely for them, probably the biggest upset of that round. Yeah, if they lose this game as a road favorite to Tampa, I would make a good argument for firing Mike McCarthy and trying to upgrade. Because again, I've seen no tangible evidence that Mike McCarthy is adding value to the Dallas Cowboys.
It's just 2 one-and-dones. That's hard to come back from, especially when we look at the Cowboys. We can tell that the talent is there. I mean, regardless of how you feel about Dak, just looking across the roster, Micah Parsons, immense talent. CeeDee Lamb, immense talent. The 1-2 combination they have between Zeke and Pollard, and yes, Zeke is diminished, but with Pollard, I feel like he has a renewed sense of energy. I even like their tight end, Dalton Schultz. He's not bad. Michael Gallup working back from last year's ACL injury, but the talent is there on this Cowboys team. So to go 2 years, one and done, especially like you mentioned, to be the favorites both times and lose, that's an indictment on the head coach. And then the next question for the Cowboys would be finding a coach to replace McCarthy. And even internally, I feel as though they have guys that they could kind of turn to, whether that be a Dan Quinn or a Kellen Mond. I feel like both of those guys, in a certain respect, strike me as more important pieces than McCarthy, because we've seen McCarthy and his time management issues come up time and time again. We've seen discipline issues come up time and time again because the Cowboys over the last 3 years of McCarthy have been one of the most penalized teams in the NFL. There's no way he could recover from losing to this Buccaneers team, this one led by Tom Brady. And I love Tom, and in a normal year, there's no shame in losing to Tom Brady. But the fact of the matter is, this Buccaneers team limped into the playoffs 8-9, getting their ass kicked by the Atlanta Falcons. And if you look at the point differential in the NFC South, they have the worst point differential below the Saints, Falcons, and Panthers. That's how bad it has been for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. They're a poorly coached mess that if you're the Cowboys, you have to lick your chops. You have to take advantage. And honestly, I know the spread says 3 points, but you should beat this team by at least a touchdown, if not more.
The only difference is that Tampa's got a really good defense. That's the only thing
even that has fallen off. Even the Tampa defense isn't as good as it was to start the year. Go back to week 1, right? Because we do have at least a week 1 pairing between these two that we can look at. In that week 1 game, they had Shaq Barrett out there. There's no more Shaq Barrett out there for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this season. They've dealt with injuries in their secondary. This Buccaneers team is drastically worse than the week 1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that the Cowboys played. In that week 1 game, yes, Dak got injured in that game, but they only put up 3 points. It was a bad outing for the Cowboys. So I would have to think that they have to put up a more promising offensive showing than that.
Yes, and you are correct. Tampa Bay back in week, I want to say 10, was ranked 5th in DVOA on defense, and now I believe they're down to 12th in DVOA on defense. So there is tangible decline, even as they've gotten healthier as a team. They got Carlton Davis back. They got Sean Murphy Bunting back. Even as they've gotten healthier, they've gotten worse. So no, Dallas should win this game. The point spread reflects that Dallas should win this game. Dallas has the best unit on the field, which is the Dallas Cowboy defense. And the second best unit on the field is probably Tampa's defense, but it's not that far off from being the Cowboys offense. For all the makeshift offensive line stuff they've done this year, like the Dallas Cowboys do still have 2 Hall of Fame offensive linemen on that line who are healthy. So like it's not great, but it's not like it's totally fallen off. Like Zach Martin, Tyron Smith are still there. So yeah, no, Dallas should win this game. And if they lose this game, regardless of how it happens, yeah, I think Mike McCarthy's out the door. Also, if they do end up hiring Dan Quinn, LOL. That's my response to that.
Even if they move on to the next round and have another poor outing, I would still feel like McCarthy's seat has to be a little bit warm. But at least at that point, it's hard to fire a coach after a playoff win. It just is. It's one of those standards for the NFL that unless you're the Chargers and you want to fire a guy after making it to the AFC Championship game, it's not something that's generally happens around
no,
sport.
it's only happened once in the last decade, and it was Mike Munchak back when Marcus Mariota beat Kansas City in a playoff game, and then they hired Mike Vrabel, which turned out pretty good. But again, most people don't do it. So yeah, you're correct. It's only happened once in the last decade.
Anyway, guys, let us know in the comments section below. Do you think that Mike McCarthy is fighting for his coaching career? We'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on all our social medias at SlumpBusterPod, at SlumpBusterPodcast. From Juju and Kyle, stay safe, happy, and healthy, and we will see you next time.